Hey guys, Brian with the Seat Shop. Today we're going to show you how to install a brand new seat cover on this cloth Ford truck seat. Alright, the first step in installing your new cover is removing your seat from the truck. So there's going to be 4 bolts in the floorboard. Move your seat all the way back towards the rear of the vehicle, undo the front 2, move the seat all the way forward, get the back 2 bolts, disconnect any power connections that are underneath the seat, and boom, you're good to go. Before you disconnect the power, make sure you move the seat back to about the middle position. That way it's a lot easier to work with on your workbench. It's not flopping all over the place because the weight's going to be centered in the middle of it. I've done it the other way and it's a real pain. So center it back up before you finally disconnect the power underneath. So this is a Ford F150. This runs from 2015 to 17, or on the Super Duties 250 and 350. It's going to run from 17 and 18. Now the seats are very, very similar to one another between the XL, XLT, Lariat. This happens to be an XLT in cloth with a power seat. But all the seats that are in this range, I think from the 150s going from 15 up to like 19, they're all pretty dang similar. But this is the specific one for 15 to 17, 150, 17, 18, F250, 350. So to start this, you're going to need a couple basic tools. It's nothing elaborate stuff you should have around the house. I got a little pick here. It's just got a little 90-degree hook on it basically. I got a pry tool, a flathead screwdriver, or any kind of a pry. You could have another pry tool, but a big flathead's good to have. A pair of scissors. I got a Torx bit. This is a T20, I believe. Yeah, T20, and a regular socket drive with a 10mm socket on it. Another thing you may need is going to be some glue, some spray adhesive. There's a couple different kinds you can get. Here's 2 that we kind of keep around just for backups. I've got a Gorilla Glue spray adhesive. This stuff you can pick up at Lowe's, Home Depot, Amazon, anywhere. This is pretty common. Same with this Dantac. A lot easier to find on Amazon. You may not find it at big box stores, but this stuff's good too. This stuff just takes a lot longer to set up and cure to hold tight. If you really want something that's going to set up quick and it's really going to hold, you don't need a 5-gallon jug of it, but we have a 5-gallon jug here. It's the DAP Landau Top and Trim Glue. This stuff is awesome. It works really, really good. Take you a $15 Harbor Freight spray gun, fill it with glue, air compressor, boom, you're good to go. This stuff is going to set quick, so you're not sitting around waiting for it to dry and set, and it's going to hold like nothing other, man. This stuff's great. But these are good backups. You just got to let it set real good before you start working with it again and put attention on any place that you did any repair on. So to take the seat apart, to take the cover off, I'm going to slide this stuff over. First I'm going to start off and need my Torx bit. There's going to be 2 screws on this seat. There's one on, so this is on the power control panel on the left side of the seat. Actually, I need to pull the beam back off first. I'm going to get my pick. So I got my little pick and a flathead screwdriver. On the inside of this, there's a little retainer clip, and the retainer clip's coming from the top straight down. So I'm going to use my flathead to kind of get some separation so I can see in there, and I'm going to use this little pick to get into that little retainer clip and hook it and pull it straight up. So let's get in there and see if we can get that done. When I get this pulled off, I'll be able to show you where it is. It's hard to see at this angle. Get some light in there real quick. If you have a high-end Energizer headlamp, those can come in key as well. I'll turn this on so I can see down this little crack. Alright, a second screw is right here. So this is the very front of our plastic control bezel. Same Torx, T20. We're going to go for this little screw right here. Alright, there we go. So that's out, so that's off. So now I'll show you how to pull the whole plastic panel off. Let's just see here. Okay, so this one only had the 2 screws, but there's a couple of the clips that are on the inside of this frame. So there's a clip that's in here on the very front. There's a spot here, and then along this ridge here, this piece of plastic comes up over and then down about a ½ inch on the inside of here. And it's got a couple catches like here and here to separate that. So what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to pull this kind of up, the whole plastic piece up, and then it's going to slide forward. So I'm going to try to separate here a little bit, and then I'm going to start working it forward. There we go. Okay, so let me show you our catches are close up. Here's our power. I'm going to disconnect that. There's a little button in the middle. Just push down there, and then this will slide right out. So now this is free. So here's our first catch. This little metal tab that's bending up. On the inside of the plastic, there's a groove right here that it sits in, right there. So this is going to go on that. That hooks onto there. The second spot is this little hook right here. I believe that's the one. Where does it go into on here? Let me look. Okay, right here. So here's the power control bezel part. This little pocket right there is what that fits into. And then further back here, here's those catches. These two plastic tabs that are right there. Those are what are catching on the inside of this piece of plastic that's going up and over and down. So this edge will sit right up against these teeth right here when it's on. So that's this areas that we have to clip. There's also a little one in the back right here. That little catch there is grabbing onto this tab here. This one's pretty easy because we're starting in the back trying to lift up. That's when we started here I was pushing up and trying to separate that. Once those are off, then pulling it straight forward. So pretty easy to get that off. Pretty good design in my opinion. A lot of them usually break pretty easy coming off. These are made pretty well. I think it's a lot easier to get off without breaking a tab. So I'm going to come around and start showing you how to, well, no, let's do it from here. Okay, undoing the seat cover. I'm going to need my flathead screwdriver. I'm going to move my screws so I don't lose them. Flathead screwdriver. Tilt this guy back. Okay, you can't see them, but there's clips. There's a clip here, there's a clip here. They're running down the side of the seat. And these clips, the edges of these clips can be really freaking sharp. So if you just ram up underneath here with your fingers on the edge of it, it may cut you. So I'm try to come from the side. You can see the metal seat pan here. I'm going to try to just go on the inside of this edge and get around under there to find that clip and then try to roll it out. There we go. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so here are the clips. Here's the edge that it's hooking onto. So there's all these little teeth along the front. You can see all these teeth here. On the back side, it's got sharp metal there that grab onto the clip. So when these go back on the hook here, they make a complete roll and go all the way that way and push up into the seat. Kind of backwards thinking, but you don't see the clips when they're hooked on. They're all like that. I don't know why you'd see them anyways, unless you stick your head underneath the seat, but people do strange things. Okay, on the side of the seat, same clips as the front. There we go. There and there, you can see how it's kind of separated because the pan kind of changes shape. So it hooks here and here. That's it on this side. Let's flip to this side. More of the same. There's a clip here and here. Let's see if I can get the angle on this guy. Okay, it runs from here to here, so maybe I can loosen that. Okay, here's that clip. Then we got this one here, same kind of clip, just a small one. Let's see if we can get that off. Started. Okay, there's that guy. And then there's another one that's feeding behind this little motor mechanism here, and it goes up underneath the seat. Let's see if we can, yeah, maybe easier to get it this way. There's a little white clip right here that's hooking onto the spring of the frame. So this just pushes off. There we go. There's the hook. It just hooks around there. Then we'll feed this up through around that motor. Okay, that's loose. Now we got the clips at the back of the seat. Okay. So there's a couple pieces of elastic. This is the seat top right here. This piece is the seat top. There's some elastic that hooks around the back here. I've taken this one apart. This actually, you'll have this clip off and this connection off, and there's a little white tab on the plastic here that this elastic will hook to. I'll show you that here in a second once we get the foam and everything off the frame, because we'll have to take these pieces off. We'll disconnect these and pull them off the frame. But now I'm just gonna undo the Velcro right now to get to it. So we got, here's these two clips here are part of the seat bottom. Take your flathead, come in here. And a lot of times I just jab the back of the screwdriver, loosen it. There it goes. Well, pop back on. There we go. One clip. And a second clip. Okay. So that clip's free. Now everything that's holding the bottom cover to the frame is disconnected. We'll come around, let's see. Yep, move around back and go ahead and take the cover off. Okay, we're gonna pull the cloth cover off. I'm basically gonna pull the foam and everything off in one piece, because what actually holds the foam cushion onto the frame is the seat cover. So how the cover wraps around and clips all those places around the seat, that's what holds the foam in place onto the frame. So with all those connections undone, I'm gonna pull the whole foam and the cover off in one piece. Lift up and then just kind of wiggle it from the back. There we go. So now, here's our frame. Okay, we got our old cover on the foam. Let's take that cover off first before we grab the new cover. So there's a couple different ways in the upholstery world of how a seat cover attaches to the foam. So you're gonna have hog rings, which is like a big metal staple that hooks on. You have Velcro, also called hook and loop. Or you have these little retainer clips. So there's a clip that's embedded in the foam cushion, and there's a piece that's sewn onto the underneath side of the cover that clips, just pushes down and clicks into place. That's what holds it on. This particular truck happens to have the clip-in, click kind of style deal. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to just peel this cover off. Just start on the corners and try to roll it backwards. You don't want to yank it all the way off. Just get the corners first, all the way around it. The back side has a strap. There's a fabric strap that goes through here. Just pull this back and kind of compress the foam in there, pull it back. So now the cover is basically starting to turn inside out. Still, the face is still attached to the foam. So everywhere the seams are is where it's going to connect onto the foam. So I'm going to pull this back to expose it. So there's little clips embedded down in the foam. This is what that clip looks like. Basically, all you're going to see is this part here exposed. It has these teeth, and that will open up, and the little channel pushes in there and clips into place. So these are in certain spots embedded in the foam. So to get it out, we're going to push down and pull back on some of the clips to be able to pull the little listing that's sewn on the cover out. I'll show you what that looks like when we get this thing out. There we go. This is why when you're taking the cover off, you don't want to just rip it off, because then you'll be yanking all of the plastic clips that are bedded into the foam out of the foam, and that's not good. So let's see if I can just pull that one out. There we go. Here. So here's just a tip. On the back one, there's two connections here and there. Once you undo one, or if the rest of the connections are undone, this will slide in that rail. So it just slides straight out. So if you still have connections done, you can undo one. If you can pull the cover where it would slide out the rail, that'll work too, instead of having to push and pull all of them out, because sometimes they're kind of a pain to get out. You can see the underneath side. This is the listings that are sewn onto it. You see this is shaped like an arrow, like an arrowhead, and that's what this thing pushes onto. So this pushes down and clips on into place like that. When you have a good clip, retainer clip, that's not cracked or stretched open, it holds on really, really tight. It's really, and you can hear it clip on and click into place. What we want to do is we want to look through the foam and make sure all of those are still in good shape, because a couple of these looked broken to me when I was pulling them off. And the easy way to check to see if it's still good, you can take your old cover and just cut one of these clips off of the seat. I'm just going to cut the gray fabric here. So now I got one of those little channels, and I can go through each clip and see if it clips. You can hear it click into place or not. So I'm going to go to each one of them, just go straight down on it and push, and see how well it holds in. That one clicked, and being that it's got a short piece, I don't have to pry it back open. I can just clip it into place and then just slide it out. But I can go to each clip and make sure it's still good, because the last thing you want to do is get all the way through it, then the last clip doesn't hold. Those two are holding pretty good. We got one here. Yep, that one's definitely good. This one, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we got 3 across here. That's good. That's good. Now this one's broken. I can see this one's cracked in half right in the middle. You can see it split apart in the center there. So what's going to do is going to be loose here. You're going to see when the cover's on, the seam's going to be nice and tucked into this seam, this groove here, and then this side's going to be real loose and it's going to come up, so your seam's going to look kind of lopsided. It's going to be sitting high here, and then it's going to be tucked down deep in the foam there. So you want to fix this before you put the new cover on. I'm going to show you how to do that too. Let's check. We checked this side. I can't remember if I checked this side or not. Why not? Let's just check it again. That's good. That one's good. That's good. Okay, so we need to replace one of these retainer clips in the seat. We have extra retainer clips. These are going to be on the as of right now, they're going to be on our accessories page on our website. So if you're getting ready to do an install on these, pretty much every model I've come across that has and uses these style clips, there's at least one of them that's broken or really, really weak and it's not holding it on. They come in 2 different styles. Some of them just individuals, or you can get some of these that have 2, a double on them. So for instance, some of these are spaced the exact same way, so if both of these are broken, you could replace it with 1 piece, or you can buy this, cut it, the ends, and you got 2 individual ones. But check the accessories page out on the website, and you'll see these orange retainer clips. You can give us a call as well, and you can add some of these to your order. It's definitely worth it to have some in the box with you when the new covers come, so that if you do have a problem, you get it fixed. Like I said, almost every install I come across, there's at least one of them that's messed up. So now those aside, I'm going to show you how to fix that. This is when the glue comes in handy. So where's that busted one? Ah, there it is, front one. Okay. So I'm going to peel this guy out of its little pocket. So it's got a little pocket that this part of the clip molds into the foam from there to there is what sticks in the foam. That part goes underneath. So I'm going to try to peel that guy out and try to leave as much foam in there. Try not to yank a bunch of foam out with it. So there's that side. I use this to kind of peel the foam off of it. So I want that foam in there to re-glue to. I don't want to get a big chunk of it out. Not the end of the world if you do, but do your best to try to just get the clip and leave as much foam in it as possible. Okay, so here's the other clip. That guy's broken. So we're going to take our glue. I'm going to fill this pocket with glue. I'm going to peel that back, fill those with glue, and I'm going to stick this down inside of there. So, but you still have a little bit, there's somewhat of a gap, above that clip. If you want to fill that with something, that'd be great. The easiest thing I've found to use for material you're going to have on hand is going to be your old cover. Here we go. Here's the old cover. You can cut some material off the seat, the part that you're not going to use this again. It's going to get chunked. You can cut some of the fabric and roll that up and stick it in there, glue it and stick that in there. If you got some extra little foam around at all, any type of foam, you can plug it with that, so it gets more. That way it's got more to glue to. It's not just floating around in there. This one's not that bad, but I'm gonna use a super glue here, super stuff here, and it's gonna hold it in there regardless. But if you got a big, huge hole above where that retainer clip is, you're gonna want to glue it in with something. There's another thing you can do is you can cut a strip. I'll cut a little piece of this material and we'll do it that way. Cut some of this fabric. So I'm going to cut a little strip of material. Now this is your old junk cover you're throwing away anyway. So I'm going to cut a little piece out. Just a little rectangle. And basically what I'm going to do is I want to trim it to be as wide as the groove that it's setting in down there. So I'm going to make this a little bit thinner. That way I can glue it down in place. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to cut a little hole on the inside of this so that this retainer clip can come up. We'll come up through it. And so now we've got this much more surface space when this whole thing is glued straight down in there. That's going to help hold this in there if you're missing a big chunk of foam above this part of the clip when you're gluing it in. So let's just trim a little piece. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to feed my clip up through a little hole I trimmed. So now we're looking like this. So now I have all of this surface area to glue down into the foam. That's going to help really ensure that this thing stays in place. This actually needs to go on that way. It needs to go this way. That. So that's going to glue down inside there like that, all the way down to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and line this with some glue and go ahead and get that set up. If you got your compressor, get your good glue out. If you got the other stuff, spray that in there. If you're using that, definitely do a patch like this. If you got the DAP weldwood, it's not as crucial to do this to it, but I got it already cut, might as well glue it in. Okay, so here's our repair. You can see new retainer clip glued in, extra reinforcement from some of the old fabric from the old cover that we used to glue down in there. And so now it's going to hold, and when you put it on, all the stuff's going to actually clip into place and hold the cover down like it's supposed to. You'd be amazed how many of these things are broken. There's a couple different models that use these. A lot of GMs changed to them in 2007. So in 07 all the way newer on pretty much all the Chevy and General Motors stuff uses these style clips, and Ford switching over to a lot of them too. So pick you up some of these because it's a real pain to do it without some extra clips. Okay, so if you don't buy the clips, there is still a workaround that you can do to do a repair. It's a lot trickier, but it is doable. So lo and behold, the fabulous zip tie. Here we go, a couple zip ties, and we can do this. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So if you take the old cover, let me just show you how this would work. So you can remove the clip, leave it in there either way. Around where every clip is in the foam, there's going to be a hole to the left and right of it. It's going to be easier to see here. You see all these holes that are all around the underneath side of the foam. So there's a hole here and a hole here. Well, there's a clip right in the middle of that. The next one is over here. There's a clip here. There's a hole here and a hole here. And the clip is just to the side of this hole. The clip's on the other side. This one actually uses a double clip, so that they're not left and right of the hole. It uses a double. So what those do is when the OEM's installing them, they have little hooks that come up through the foam, grabs the cover and pulls it down and clips it into place. That's what those holes are for. It's a good thing the holes are there because we can rig something up. So here's your cover. Here is all the channels that would lock in. Let's look at say this clip right here is broken. This cover goes on here. I need to clip it in right there. I can come up through with a zip tie. I'm going to have to cut a hole in the fabric here. So I'm going to cut a little, just poke a hole through the fabric. And you can take a zip tie and go through that. And then I'm going to come through the hole underneath. And then you want to put something substantial on the underneath side. So because when you tighten the zip tie down, you need to have something underneath here. Glue something in there, get creative, find something around the garage, something you can put there that's good. Maybe some of the old cloth. You can glue some strips of the old cloth there so it's got something else to hold on to, because everything, it's just going through foam. There's nothing substantial in the frame that's gonna, in the foam that's gonna give you something to really grab onto. So this, you can just feed that back up through that hole. So now you're here. You can either come on the side of it, hook your zip tie, then you can tie it down. Now I would have it where the end of the zip tie is on the underneath side, so you can tighten it from the underneath side, but that'll cinch it down in there. That's gonna be a real pain to do, but it's doable. That's the workaround. If you run out of clips or didn't buy clips, retainer deals, you can do it with zip ties through the holes in the foam cushion. So, but we've got clips. So we got new clips in there. Adios, el zip tie. Okay, I want to take a quick second to talk about one of the most important aspects of your install, and that is your foam cushion. The driver bottom foam cushion gets the most abuse of any part in the vehicle. You've got to have good foam in there when you're putting a new cover on there. I don't care what type of cover you're putting on, putting Kevlar on it. It's going to wear out if you don't have a good foam cushion underneath it. So the best thing, first choice, is to replace it. We're getting ready to come out with our Durafoam cushions for this model as well. Check our website, put in your year, make, model. When you see all the covers, if we have the foam available, it'll be right there on that page on the website. Add the Durafoam to it. The Durafoam is going to be an upgrade from even a new OEM cushion. So it's the same shape, the mold's the exact same size and everything, but it's going to have a higher density, different firmness, all that kind of stuff. We kind of get to Monday morning quarterback the design on it and make a better product for it that's going to last a whole lot better, be a lot more comfortable for you, and your new cover, your new investment in that is going to hold up like it should and not wear out. If you don't want to spend the money on a new replacement, you need to do some foam repair. If depending on how bad the edge is where you're getting in and out of the truck, typically the left side from sliding out, if you got a big chunk missing or it's really, really soft, where there's just no density on it, when you push it, it just collapses down, you're gonna wanna repair that, or if you take it to an upholstery shop to have them repair it, they're gonna carve out a chunk of that, they're gonna glue in a new piece of foam on the side and carve it and shape it to match the shape of the seat foam, so the contours and everything is the same, which is a decent solution. However, it's not as good as a complete new replacement, but having a shop or professional actually glue that stuff in and carve it and shape it is usually about the same cost as the new Durafoam cushion. So why not get a whole new cushion and everything's new and you don't have a repair job on it. But that is an option. If you don't want to spend the money on having a shop do that, you can try to carve some, buy some foam online and kind of carve it and glue it yourself, shape it. But regardless which option you go with, if you're doing any type of repair, you need to steam the foam. I'll say that again, you need to steam the foam. And like, why in the hell would I steam the foam? Well, the foam is gonna crush down over time. You got 130,000, 150,000 miles on your truck. Your foam is gonna be having the tight cover on it and sitting on it. It's gonna be smushed in some. You're gonna see where all the seams were indented on the sides, and you wanna puff that back up because you want the foam to be as close to the original size as it was when the original cover went on it when you're putting a new cover on it. That way all the seams line up in the right space. It fills that when it puffs back up with the steam, it takes a lot of that space out so the cover's not gonna fit loose or baggy or have slack. So steam is a must when you're doing it. There's a couple ways of steaming it. This is the easiest, cheapest option. This is an Amazon rig, I believe like 30 bucks. We keep this around for a backup. But take this, and when I say steaming, I'm talking about going over every square inch of it. So you would basically, this is a pressure one, so it shoots steam and pressure. I would take it and I just slowly work the steamer throughout the whole foam, and you'll see the foam, the steam penetrating into the foam, and the foam starts to swell back up. Go through the whole foam that way. It may take you 30, 40 minutes to do it, but it's real important. So here's steamer. This is a newer foam. This may not puff up much at all because it's new, but you can see it's starting to puff and swell up. It's actually doing pretty decent. You can see that rise. You might be getting 1/8 inch rise. I've had stuff that would rise up a 1/2 inch. It makes a big difference. You think of an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch all over the entire surface of the foam. And when you're putting a new cover up, think about how much space that's taking up. That's what's going to help it from being loose and having slack in it. So you can see this kind of swelling back up. Yeah, that's swelled pretty good right there. But I'll work it this slow all the way around the foam and let it just watch it penetrate into there and let it fill all the way up. It takes a while, but man, it's just a definite must. You've got to do this. So go throughout your whole cushion like that with steam. Either steamer, this is a commercial steamer, you can use the Amazon rig, either way. But once it's steamed, you want to make sure you dry it out. Take your air compressor, blow all the moisture out of it, let it dry, because when it's hot and it's got moisture in it. When it's real hot, it's real soft. So when it cools out and dries up, it's going to firm back up and you'll be ready to install the new cover. I can't stress it enough. Do something about your foam or you're wasting money on your seat cover. Don't buy a seat cover without addressing the foam. Get a Durafoam. Why not? That's the best way to do it. It's going to be a lot more comfortable. So, new cover. Let's put that sucker on. New seat cover. Right there. Flip it inside out. Go around all the edges. Now these clips on the edges are sharp, so be careful on those because the edges where they're cut are sharp. So flip these around. Okay, now we're going to go through and push all the clips, the things onto the clips. So a lot of times I like having the front of the seat facing me. I'll fold this back. Now I can see my strip here, and I'm going to line that just right up over the seam, and then stick that down in the groove, find each clip, and then push it in. You'll hear it snap. There's that one. There's that one. Okay. Once I got that horizontal one, I'm going to do the rear one here. So when I spun it around looking forward at it, I want to make sure it's going straight. It's not turned one way or the other. Make sure everything's sitting nice and flat and straight, and then fold this guy back. Stick the channel down in and click it in. we go. All right, those are on. Now we'll go down our sides. This side, fold it back, snake this down through, clip them on. Okay, everything's connected. So now we're going to roll the cover onto the foam. I'm going to start with the front corner here, put my hand on the inside of it. I want to flatten out across here to make sure it's, so my fingers run on the underneath side of the seam. And I'm going to just roll the cover over. Stay connected onto the, your hands on the cover the whole time, and roll the edge over, and then pull these back a little bit. If you just try to grab here and yank it over, you get a good chance of tearing something, ripping something. It's going to be a lot more adjustment when you get it on to get it to fit smooth. Good thing is cloth is a little bit more forgiving than leather and vinyl, but you still want to do it this way. If it's real tight, you can push in on the foam while rolling over with the cloth. And roll that over, and then peel it all the way back. So that's that. Okay, we got our little strap. This strap goes on the underneath side, so we're going to take this strap and pull it over. You can, if it's tight, just push in and collapse the foam some, so it gives it some slack. There we go. And this guy's going to sit nice and flat. Make sure it's not all twisted up, but that sits flat across the back of the foam right there. Okay, all that's there. That's looking good. Clips are in the right spot. Cover looks good. Okay, now we got to put it back onto the frame. So to feed this through the frame, be really, really careful, because a lot of the inside edges of the seat frame is just sheet metal, and it is razor freaking sharp. So be real careful when you're sticking your hand through and fishing around trying to grab something, because there's a lot of sharp edges in here, and it does not feel good getting sliced with this stuff. So I want to feed these flaps through. That gives me a handle to be able to grab and pull back. So one of the biggest things we got to do is this hump in the foam. You can see this curve here, this half pipe. This part of the foam needs to go over this black bar across the back here. This big metal black bar that this white plastic's hooked onto here. So this bar needs to fit in that groove of that. That's how you know you get the foam seated all the way on. So we're going to feed the material through the back here. So here's the material, here's the clip on it. I'm going to try to feed that through the slot there. Here's the other clip. Let's get both clips. Make sure we got both clips through. Okay. All right, so we know they're draped through. Now I can grab one hand on the back. You don't want to grab just the clip and pull. You want to grab the clip and some fabric, handful of fabric on there as well, and pull. But with left hand here, I'm pulling. But on the right hand side, I'm pushing the foam, even hitting it back in to kind of wedge it down in. It's only going to go so far until I flip underneath here and make sure I can get the foam to go up over that bar. So here we go. Okay, let's see. The foam is still further back. It's kind of black on black. It's hard to see, but it's sharp under here too. Let me try to wedge it back a little bit. See if I can. Okay. So now on the underneath side, I'm running my finger across the back, trying to pull the foam up over this bar. There's some sharp edges. Stubborn.
snagging in the middle underneath it?
No. It's just a pain to do. It's almost there. Okay, I've got most of it. Just this back corner. I can get to it without cutting myself. Back side of the screwdriver and see if I can push it up. Ow. Oh, so close. There we go. Okay. Now it's up and over. I'll show you that. Okay, so here's the foam cushion all the way up over the bar, over this bar. If it's not over the bar, then you know the foam's not seated all the way back correctly, and that's not good. You want to make sure it's over that. As a pain in the butt as it is, keep working with it until it gets all the way back over. Now, I'm gonna come around the front and show you how to hook. We'll start working on our clips. I'll usually start in the very front. This back. Okay. So now we got our clips. So these do a complete roll. These clips are extremely important that it's the right clip to be able to grab onto there. There's a lot of generic clips out there and not everything actually will catch onto this. So the depth is important, which side of the clip the catch is on in here. There's teeth on the inside of this, depending on where those teeth are for it to grab, how deep it is from the end of the clip to where the catches are. All that's really, really specific for it actually hooking onto this and staying on. Staying on is a big thing. You can pop it on, get in the truck, you drive down the road, you hit a couple bumps, takes the pressure off this, and they pop off. That happens a lot of times if you're using generic crap clips that aren't made for it, that aren't the right style. So these are the same ones that the factory uses, but it's a little bit weird how they hook on, because it doesn't just come over and hook. That would be normal, when it looks like that, where you see the clip. This rolls. So we want to line up the center of that with that groove, with the edge of that. So it's hooking that, it's hooked there. I'm going to roll it. When I get it there, I'm going to push in and hear it clip. That's not generic. Generic ones aren't going to clip like that. Okay, same thing. In that groove, pull it there, snap. Those are on. Those are not coming off. Same thing on this side. We got two clips here, two clips there at least. These roll. These are a little bit trickier to roll because you've got some framework in the way. You've got this part of the frame that's in the way, so it's a little bit tricky to do. And you can see where the frame curves. It goes flat here and then curves in. One clip will be to this side of the curve, the other clip will be to the bottom of the curve. Let's do the front one first. There we go. Definitely want to hear that pop. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. Those are good. Let's see that bottom one. Okay, there we go. All right, there's only two on the side. Flip to the other side here. 2 more just like the other side. It's gonna be tricky with this thing in the way. You can unscrew it if you want to, this little Torx there, but we're gonna see if we can get around it. That's on. Let's see if we can get this guy. Just not much room to work with your fingers in here. This guy may not go. I probably have to pull this to get it to go on real easy. But let me get one more shot. That's hitting that frame. Let me just take the Torx, pull it off quick. Make sure it's the same size. Indeed. Boom. Helps me get all the room in the world. So, screw that back on. Same size Torx as the other one, T20. Okay. 2 more clips here. This guy was stuck up underneath the seat. Let's feed him out. Okay, here's that flap. This goes underneath there. Let's go ahead and hook this guy first. Same as all the other ones. It rolls to the edge. There we go. Okay, so this little guy is going to feed behind this little motor. See if I can go behind that wire. There we go. So is that, and now it's going to hook on to that same part of the spring on the frame right there. So it just loops and hooks on. Pretty easy to do. Okay, we got those. Now let's do our back 2. So now we've got this clip and this clip, and they're going to hook onto the white plastic right there and there. So again, don't grab just a clip and yank the clip. Grab a handful of material like that, or you can take the clip and kind of roll it some. Roll it up a couple, and that way you can pull and get you some slack, and then I can, with tension on it, I kind of unroll the clip on my hand. I'll show you that again. Here's a clip. I'm going to roll it 1 or 2 times. So now I got something real substantial to grab onto. Grab, pull tight. And then I'm still got tension on it, but I'm unrolling it. That's going to give me a lot of room to get it around that without ripping it. If you grab this and start just yanking, if it's real tight, Now this one's not way too tight. I can clip it that way, but if you need more slack, roll that clip a couple times so you got something to grab onto and pull, and then unroll it and clip it on. Okay, those are on. We're going to put this connection back on. Here's a good shot of a airbag connection. Here's that red double safety catch. This will push together. Then this red piece slides forward and that locks it. That just prevents anything from pushing that button down to be able to release that, being this an airbag. Everything airbag is yellow. Okay, this clip here. It's just gonna slide on. I don't actually. Hold on, got hit of myself. Elastic straps. So this loops around that little white plastic catch. There's another one underneath here. You just can't see it because this clip's a little bit bigger. It goes underneath it and hooks there. The elastic strap is for the seat top. So with those disconnected, then you can get the elastic straps on. Now that the elastic's on, we're gonna go ahead and put our connections back together. This one here just slides straight in, just pinch it together, clip. Now we got our airbag one. Push this straight in, and then slide our red catch back. Now you're good to go on that. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is put the plastic control bezel back on. But I'm just looking at all the clips that hold this thing on, and how hard they snap into place when you hear them lock in. I can't iterate enough how much that makes a big difference. There's a lot of other covers, people manufacture out there that use generic stuff. Here's an example of a generic one. We see this all the time on seat covers. This is basically what you use to cover around like a pickup truck bed, like a tonneau cover. It's got an aluminum metal through there, and it bends open, so you could pry it open and it stays open, and then you would push it around the edges of the frame, and then you would pinch it back together. That's never going to hold. When it has tension on it, when the cover fits really nice and tight, you're always going to have tension on it. It's going to just continue to pry open, and it's going to pop off all the time. So if you had one of these on your seat cover, you're going to have to run like some self-tapping screws through that into your seat pan to actually get it to hold on. We have so many different designs. I don't even know how many clips we have, but you can look at all the different funky shapes, and this shape is like a different shape won't work. This is for some expedition covers. There's a bunch of different thicknesses and sizes and all that kind of stuff for it to clip correctly onto the frame and lock on, so you're not having to use self-tapping screws and rigging it up to get your seat to stay on. Like I said, when you have stuff like this on there, or a clip that doesn't snap into place, when you sit down in the seat and the foam compresses, or you hit a bump and you sink down in the seat and it takes all the pressure off of it, they're gonna pop off all the time. And now you're always trying to rig your seat, fix your seat up, take your seat out, try to self-tap it, all that stuff. It's a real freaking pain. You don't wanna mess with that. Get the right clips, get the right cover that has the right clips on it so that it will install correctly, and you don't have to sit there and rig it up every month, fix stuff up. It's really annoying when that happens. So now, that said, let's put the control bezel back on the side. Okay, so we got the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hook on our power connection that we disconnected. Very easy, just slides on, push it in place, you'll hear it click. Boom, that's it. Okay, so we have our connection points. We got one, that's the screw. This connection in here, this piece of metal goes into this pocket, and then last we're gonna make sure that this piece here goes all the way over and is sitting on the inside edge of these clips here, and we'll double check that that's on, but that's gonna be easy because it's gonna be up high and we'll pull it down on. So we're gonna start out. Okay, so this has a slit in the pocket back here. Let me show you the slit right here, so that this can be in front of it and push back onto it, because this thing here has to go straight into there. So what we're gonna aim for first is getting this into that pocket. And so it's going to take a little bit of flex. I'm like pushing the plastic in to catch in there. Okay, that's there. Now we can look underneath and see if it's, going back, that's caught. So now I want to should be good there. So here I'm kind of pinching this so I can pull this over and make sure it's all the way down. That's sitting in there. That's good. Let's look through here. Okay, our front one's not hooked, so this is the one with the tabs sticking straight up. Let's see if I can get it from underneath. Nope, not all the way. Tell if it's on. No, it's not on. Pull it back off a little bit. So hard to see with the foam there. Push back to make sure that middle connection's on. Probably be able to check it underneath. If there's a connection underneath here that this has to be higher. This piece is above it and come down. There we go. There we got it. Hook there. That's in there. Yeah, that's tighter. This thing would flex out a bunch. Just double check that we're hooked. Light in there and see. Yeah, we're definitely in the pocket. It's really hard to see, but you can see the piece of metal is going up into the black plastic there. But you can also tell if it isn't lined up, then your screw hole here is going to be way off. This piece here, there's the screw. You can see it line up right there. Really easy. If it's way off, then something's probably not seated. But you can see the threads really easy right there. Grab our screws, wherever they are. I think they're on the back. All right, so our last two screws. We got one in the front. These are our little Torx, little T20s. We're gonna go right here. Okay, like I said, you don't need to get them crazy tight because it's plastic. You don't want to bust through it. And then our last screws on the back of the frame. Right here. Okay. last but not least, come here, you guy. There we go. Our recline lever. We've already put our clip back on it, so once we put it on there and tap it on, it'll lock back into place. So there we go there, and just boom. Now you get your lever, you can recline. Hey guys, thanks for watching the install video on this Ford truck seat. If your seats are messed up in your truck, go to theseatshop.com. All of our seat covers match factory original. That way you can do a single piece, just like this. Just do the driver bottom. Whatever piece is messed up in your truck, we can get you hooked up. We match color with your VIN number, so you don't have to take a guess on what color it is. Shoot us your VIN, let us know your year, make, model. We can get you hooked up with the right covers, whatever piece you need. And they're all gonna come with videos like this to show you exactly how to do it so you can save some money on that end without having to pay somebody else to do it. Walks you step by step through everything. And if you always need us, you're a call away. Give us a shout, we can help you out if you're stuck on anything. Get your truck looking again. It's time to fix it up, get your driver's seat fixed up, get a new foam in there, pimp that ride.